Hi, my name's Matt Fulton. I worked with Jamie Dunn, aka Agro, for 2 years, which I'm very lucky to have done for 2014 to 2015 when I was at Triple M Brisbane. Now, like myself and many other radio colleagues, we all think that he was just an amazing person to work with. Very funny, and you always had the time of day for you. As an example, when at one stage I was trying to start a podcast and I wanted him to be my first interview. So I called him up and say, "Hey mate, do you mind if I record a chat with you just to get things rolling?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure." And he actually offered to come over to my place and do a chat. And there was a cafe downstairs from where I was living, so we walked down there, had a seat and a coffee, and I showed him some clips of his past history and got him to commentate on it. And this is the result. So again, this is from 2015 when we both worked at Triple M. And so some of the stuff is visual, and some of the background noise, there was construction going on. But I've remastered the audio, and I hope you enjoy. So Vale, Jamie Dunn, you're a legend.
Don't you think it's quite apt that we're sitting here and there's a garbage truck to our left? I think my career might be in that.
Well, there we go. Yeah, I just saw the 1980s go like that. So how was your morning this morning?
Yeah, it went pretty well. Yeah. Strangely enough, I had a good show, yeah. I care about the show, but I'm very, very relaxed with it, you know.
Yeah, well, is it different to how when you were doing B105 Breakfast?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
You mean the great years?
Yeah, the great years.
No, it was the same. It was the same because the secret to it is not to really care, not to get, not to overplan, just let the show, create itself kind of. Okay, so there's a skeleton sort of where you're headed. But I'm lucky because the guy behind the panel is very good, Ben.
Yep.
And Dobbo's really, he's like,
How far do you go back with radio? When was the earliest time that you can remember?
My earliest time was, I remember 4BC with Robbo in the afternoons. I just went in, I was a songwriter and I went in there and he had an idea to do some suburb songs. So we would do, I don't know, one a week or something. He'd get me in there and it'd be something like Sunnybank, 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 Sunnybank. Yeah. something original like that.
Yeah.
And I remember because I was a singer-songwriter, I do remember being on air at 4BC as a guest talking about something. And I remember losing my concentration. I don't know why. He was asking me questions. I think it was Robbo. And my mind wandered and he kind of went like this. So, Jamie, as far as singer-songwriting goes, my mind went off. I was thinking, oh, God, I've got to do that this afternoon and that tomorrow. And when they came back, so what do you think, Jamie? And I kind of went, could you repeat the question? I kind of, I guess I learned a lesson that day. I do still lose concentration. I called Dobbo Marto this morning.
Oh.
And I said the phone number was 13353 and it's 13353. So I don't know. As far as going back, I kind of eased into radio. And they only got me because I was the guy that did Agro. B105 when 4BK and the day rang. They rang Channel 7 and asked if they could speak to the guy that does Agro. They didn't even know my name. And luckily, I think that was on the cusp of radio, being radio. Well, it's probably on another cusp now. When in the old days you used to smile when you talked, when you did radio like that. It's 30, and used to tie it into the songs too. So they go, it's 30 degrees and chance of a late storm. Speaking of storm, here's Rain by Dragon. And you kind of go, oh, my God. So when I came into it, I was just a bloke. And I didn't try and be a bloke. And I've got the same voice now as when I was on B105. I've never forced the voice or tried to learn the skills of time calls or anything, So I think it became acceptable just to be a regular radio show, and that kind of was the success. The success ran for 16 years. Then I had a year of just hobbling along, and then they got me.
With your TV work, you mentioned.
Well, I did Agro with TV, yeah, and I used to produce music shows for Channel 7.
Oh, there's the grinder.
There's the grinder. Tough at the top.
Yep.
It's tough at the top. Well, no, Agro was the same thing. I'd written a song. I never did the first Agro. I'd written a song, because who do you sell songs to in Australia? John Farnham or John Farnham? You know, even now it's just John Farnham.
Well, roughly what era was this?
Oh, God. It'd be 19... It'd be late 1981, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, when I started Agro. And I had done a demo for the original Agro and put a monologue in the middle. And I'd written a song and sent it up to Channel 7. And so I'd written this song and I'd done the monologue in the middle. Fiona, little furry guys like me. And I copied that guy's voice. And he had a legal problem with him. He had a problem with Channel 7 and, sent them a letter going, I claim rights to this character. And Channel 7 went, all right, no, you don't. And they won in court and that was it. But they rang me on the Friday and said, can you do Agro live on the Saturday? And I said, because they'd heard my voice on the demo. I said, sure can, because in my business, you say yes to everything.
Yep.
And then work out how to do it afterwards. So I practiced all Friday night and I turned up Saturday morning because I think it was a 6 o'clock start. I could be wrong. Maybe it was 9 till 12. I can't remember when Super Saturday Show was. That's Saturday. And I was kind of lying there and I put my arm up the puppet and I got the voice perfectly. I was going, we're giving away a trampoline today and we got the Snorks and the Smurfs and, Fiona. And anyway, this guy his name was Ian Duncan, he crawls across the floor and holds up a sign. Can you please make the puppet's mouth move when he speaks? So I wouldn't say it was a professional start.
That's Fiona McDonald, by the way. Can you explain that? Can you see that properly?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. That's the original Agro there. That was just me. I remember that shot.
Oh, yeah, it's a picture album of Fiona McDonald.
That's the CD. That was the CD.
A CD?
A 7-inch single of the song I was just talking about. That's on RCA Victor, and it came out, and there's a 7 logo.
Yep.
And it was a single with Fiona and Agro.
Okay, I'm about to play this to you.
Yes.
All right, and you're looking at the screen saying Behind the Blues.
Hi, and welcome to Behind the Blues. In the next half hour, we're going to be doing that, taking you behind the cameras in the making of the Blues Brothers, as well as highlighting a couple of numbers from the Blues Brothers. Until then, sit back, relax, and enjoy with me the making of the Blues Brothers. Great stuff. A point of trivia. Okay, did you notice that in the movie that Elwood didn't do any of the driving? Well, the reason for that is that in real life, Belushi behind the wheel is a total maniac and Aykroyd totally refused to have him drive anywhere. We'll be back with more of Behind the Blues after this break.
I think I made a mistake there in that one.
How did that come across? Did they just, did Channel 7 executives just go, we need one of our talents?
It was like almost midnight to dawn time slot.
Yep.
And because it was they already had a Blues Brothers special, and I was producing a show up there called 7 Rock. Where I used Bill Reiner to host it, who was just sensational. He really knows his music, that guy. And I was also doing Saturday Jukebox, which was a teen sort of show on a Saturday morning.
Yep.
after the Agro show. So they just asked me would I host it, and I did. Didn't get any money for it. It was about, I think it was 11 o'clock at night it went to air, so it didn't matter how bad I was. It was just a filler. Yep. But it was one of those ones that you take to, I don't know. If someone says to you, will you do this? I always say yes. Yeah. And so I did it. And I'm amazed how good I was, because that was pretty bad.
Well, you did bring up a point about an error with that, and because I'm a Blues Brothers nut, you're meant to say
yes,
Jake instead of Elwood about Jake.
Yeah. But there's a certain
driving.
Yeah, but there's certain nervousness when you're doing it without an auto cue. You know what I mean?
Well, I was going to say, did you improv that or?
Yeah. So that you know what you're going to say, but then when you say it, and And because it was so cheap, I was kind of the producer of it as well as the presenter. And so I thought, I'll finish that. Oh, thank God I'm finished. I'm not doing that one again. But having seen that is completely wrong.
Ah, okay. Now I'm going to show you this clip here.
Love the song. Huey.
The hairstyles, so.
Sitting down.
Down that rocky road, here we are still around. Yes, it's true.
Yes, it's true.
We're so happy to be stuck.
Oh, Brian Bury, Don Lane, whatever his name is. Kerry Ann Kennelly, George Negus, Johnny Young, Alf.
That was...
Is that a Logies thing?
Yep.
It is a Logies thing.
Yeah.
This is the 30th Annual TV Week Logie Awards with Daryl Summers, live from the Hyatt on Collins in Melbourne.
So that was the 1988 Logie Awards.
Oh, was it?
The intro.
Oh my God.
Now, can you remember, like, and Agro was featured in there a couple of times.
Yeah.
What was your work like back then? So,
Oh, my work was
but what were you doing with Agro back then?
it was relentless, absolutely relentless. Because having been in bands, I think I had a unique skill. Like I was a drummer in bands, and you try and you try and you try, and then you get success with a puppet. Isn't that strange? And then, of course, in bands, you're ringing everyone looking for work. When you're on television and the puppet is, gets some traction, the phone rings all the time. Will you do this? Will you do this? Can you come down and do the Logies? Can you shoot something for the Logies? And the phone just rang. I didn't have to ring anyone for work. And I knew that I had something, and I had the skills to, like from the band days of trying to get money from people who didn't want to pay you, trying to get, a job from someone who didn't want to employ you, to having something that really worked. And it was a breeze, and I was ready for it. And I said yes to absolutely everything. So my weekends would be maybe 3 fates on a Saturday, 3 fates with Jill Ray, maybe 2 on a Sunday, and that was all extra money. And in those days, we used to go for $250 or something. I'd give Jill 125 and I'd take 125. And
Oh, you're quite generous.
well, in the end, I didn't. Yeah, I had a big fight with Jill one time, and I said, I pointed to the board. I always used to have an idiot sheet up in my office with all the jobs on it. I didn't hide it from anyone. And she came in, and she'd going out with this guy, and he must have said, "Are you sure you get the right money or something?" And I was giving her half the money anyway.
Yeah.
And the book was always on the table. And I remember I made her cry. I didn't mean to. Well, I did mean to, I guess. She came in, sat down, and she said, "Oh, I want to know, I want to have a look at the books to see where my money's going." And I said, "Well, they're right in front of you there, and it's up on the board. And while we're looking at that board behind me, you see all that work there? I can do that with a trained chimp." I got real bad. She teared up a little bit. I kept going, but she wouldn't cry. She just wouldn't cry. I kept at her. But anyway, so if I still work with her now, so she's forgiven me.
Because you recently did the Agro Up Late.
Yeah, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
Isn't that strange? A couple of drag friends that I go and see at the North Ipswich Bowls Club had written their own little show, and they're having it at this 50-seat theatre over at Morningside. And I went to see them, and they only did 2 nights there, but they were good, and it was really intimate and really good. I came away from there, and because I'm now almost broke and struggling for money, I was trying to figure out how to, create some work. And so I saw the theatre manager, Damien Lee, and I said, "Why don't we do some Agro shows? I'll do a half-hour stand-up, and then we do an Agro show." And he called it Agro Up Late. And bugger me if it wasn't sold out in a matter of hours. But mind you, it's a 50-seat theatre, so we did 4 shows straight away, sold. And then I did another 2 when I got I was supposed to do the Bowie muster, host that. I had that in my book, and I rang them, and they went, "Oh, this was the revenge of a radio station." I think one of the country music stations I worked at must have said to them, "I'm only surmising, we won't work with Jamie Dunn's out there."
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I got dumped from that, and I was okay with that. I didn't mind it. That's the business kind of. And so I rang him back. I said, "I've got 2 more free dates." And he put them up, and we sold those out. So I did 6 shows, and they got better and better. They really did. Like Jill Ray is like opening an old bottle of wine. The first taste a little bit sour, but the end of it, oh man, she was just fantastic, and the audiences were just great.
With the demographics of the audience,
8 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy. They were just wonderful. They were laughing. The first night was a little bit clunky, I thought, but afterwards people were saying, loved it. Second night was great. Third night it was fantastic. Fourth night it was phenomenal. Fifth night it was unbelievable. The sixth night I was so out of control with the puppet and what I was doing. It was really, I really liked doing it. And I'd say to Jill, I think we're taking it to the top. We're going to Harvey Bay with that show next. At this level, and I don't mean a very high level. I mean, not has-been level, but bordering. And at that level, when, you're nervous that you're not going to sell 50 seats. And I was so surprised that we sold 50 seats a night for 6 nights, sold out. And there are people like you going, "Oh, I wish I'd have been there." And I was enthused by it, reinvigorated by it. There was a lot of pressure leading up to it, thinking it wasn't going to do it. But, when the guy rings you 8 hours afterwards and says, "It's okay, they're sold out," you go, "Oh, wow." So there's still a market for it.
Yeah.
Because a generation grew up with Agro, and they know, and with those bloopers, oh my God, have you seen the, well, yeah, here it goes.
something wrote it up. That was the next question. Now, this is the Agro bloopers that are infamously known on YouTube.
Yeah, I know.
You've seen them, haven't you? Or since?
Well, I'll give you an idea. I was walking through my house when I was married, and my kids were gathered around the computer, and they went, "Hey, Dad," and I was a very big house, so it went, "Hey, Dad, hey, Dad, hey, Dad, hey, Dad." I had a mansion on the beach. I don't have it anymore. I said, "Yeah, what? Yeah, what? Yeah, what?" And then I walked up the stairs and I said, "You're on YouTube." And back in those days, I went, "I'm on what?" And they said, "YouTube, you're on YouTube." And I had a look at it, and I thought, oh my God. And these days, when I saw it with my kids, I thought, oh my God, I'm either going to be in prison or I'm going to be waking up next to Rolf Harris.
Give me your karate.
It's Agro doing it. I love it.
I wouldn't push it with me, Agro.
And how good was Anne-Marie? Look how she's reacting to that.
Do I get an apology?
I'm sorry, Anne-Marie.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
I'm sorry, Anne-Marie.
Thank you. All right, back to the program.
Can you just hang on to that? Are you ready for your internal?
Oh, God. What do you think this is? You are so bad. You really are. You are unbelievable. Where do you get all this stuff? Get out with your dirty things. Unreal. Let's just catch you. Let's just see what you do. Filthy thing.
See, it's fun. I've seen it. I don't know. And it's funny, it's funny even now. Hey, I'm laughing at it again.
Because, like myself, grew up watching Agro and all the other shows that you've done.
Yeah.
And seeing stuff like that, you'll never really see that at all.
My favourite one on that is where she says it's a good luck troll, and Agro goes, "I reckon my hair would go like that too if I had a pencil up my ass." And I was so relaxed at work, and I took that to radio. That's how I was at radio. Not that disgusting, but off air I was pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I've heard some stories. not full stories, but I just heard the.
there's some is urban myth.
Yeah.
And
wasn't sure if I should bring this up or not.
You can.
I'm totally aware of it.
Yeah.
But it's just everyone else out there.
Yeah.
Because it's radio folklore about the infamous Wheat Bix story.
Wheat Bix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we might as well just lay it out clean.
No problem.
We'll get it out there and we'll see where it goes.
Okay. Well, I got to work, and when in radio, you don't have time to go out for your breakfast. Once the show starts or the preparation, you got to stay in the studio. There's no getting any more breakfast. If you miss your breakfast, you're buggered. So I turned up on the Monday, and I knew I'd left 4 Wheat Bix in the box, and I used to put them in. There used to be a concertina file, a big library of records at B105 from the 4BK days. And I put my Wheat Bix under W, which I thought was pretty clever. I go to my box of Wheat Bix, and someone's flogged my 4 Wheat Bix. I was pissed off. I was cheesed. I waited a week, and on the Friday, I specifically left 4 Wheat Bix. Before I put them in the box, I went into the loo, and I baked each one of them between the cheeks of my ass. Baked them. I left them there for, 30 seconds or so, but it was a real bake for each one of them.
Enough for it to be sponge-worthy.
No, still crispy. I had to really do some cleaning work after that. But, yeah. So I put them back in the box, and I put them under W, and I closed it. I turned up on the Friday, and I opened it up again. I went there, and they were gone. And then I told the story on the radio. I said, this is what I did. The phone rings almost immediately. There's a guy called Jamie who said, it wasn't me. And at state school, when someone farted, they go, first smell, first stink.
Yep.
I always had my suspicions about Jamie.
Now, I'm not so sure which year this is from, but...
Oh, I know this one.
And the winner is Humphrey, please. Come on, Humphrey. Humphrey.
Guess a look at the winner, Humphrey.
Come on, you two. Shock the management. Speak. Come on, you can do it. Speak. Speak, you can do it. You are not an animal.
I'm funny.
How fun was that to be up on stage with...
Is that Dickie Nee?
Dickie Nee.
Yeah.
Fad Cut and Humphrey Beepet.
See the size of the box? There's the 2 of us in there. I'm on, as we look at it, stage left. And I think it was a guy called Mark, and he was the floor manager from Channel 9 that used to do Dickie Nee. And over the years, I'd developed a little talkback thing on the belt, communications belt, where I could push a button, speak to the director and say, I'm about to push his face in some custard on camera 3, don't miss it. But that could go to the director, but not to air. So this was live on television. And when we were sitting in there doing the rehearsal, I said to Mark, because I've always liked Dickie Nee, I love that whole concept. And I said to him, and I'm wearing this belt with all the buttons and the whiz bangs and stuff, so I talk to directors and so forth. I said, how do you do this? Do you do the same as me with like a director talkback sort of on your belt and stuff? And this guy says to me, no, whenever John Blackman speaks, I shake the stick. That was how he did Dickie Nee. Oh, God, I laughed. But I love that about Australian television, don't you? It doesn't mean anything.
It's simple.
Yeah. And, to start abusing, like Agro was abusing Humphrey Bear going, speak, because they had the idea, and that was ad-lib. It was, the poor bugger in the suit was turning around, trying to get the right thing so he could see through the gauze. And to fill that space, I'm going, speak. And then I'm thinking, you are not an animal. It's just funny as.
The next one, this one here. Can you explain Jamie Come Home?
Yes, I wrote a song about someone I loved, me.
I've played them all, every school social out and every little church.
Okay, so I had a cold when I recorded that, and it made me sound sexy. I'm definitely not a sexy man.
you recorded this with Gary McDonald?
Yeah.
Norman Gunston.
No, not Norman Gunston. He was Gary McDonald. He's a great Brisbane guitarist and a great musician and a friend of mine. He arranged that song, and that song I wrote in those days when it was a single like that 7-inch single. You wrote the flip side because you get the same publishing from the flip side as you do for the A side. So if the A side is like, you'll find in those old records of Sadie the Cleaning Lady, John Farnham would have written the B side because you get paid the same amount for the A side as the B side. So, well, that might be the other way around. See, I made another mistake, just like the Blues Brothers. I haven't changed. I'm still consistent. And so what happened with that was when it went to radio, they didn't like the A side. They turned it over and played the B side. And then Jamie Come Home, the song I wrote, out of honesty, I'd say, I'm not much of a singer, but I had a cold when I recorded, so it sounded a lot better than it should have. And we recorded it in Brisbane. It was number 1 on the 4BK request chart. That's because most of my family rang up and requested it. And, it went quite well, right? I guess the 3 states, it was in the top 20, I guess, in Sydney and in Melbourne. And so I was doing a lot of promotional work. And I remember it was mixed in Melbourne. And the guy who, because it was from Brisbane, he said, we'll have to remix it virtually without listening to it. So he put in a remix and then he played it back to me, and it was the same mix that we sent down, and I didn't have the heart to say to him, I said to him, that's much better. But it was the same mix.
Yeah.
Corkhead.
That's... Speaking of the music part...
We get up every morning, just as the sun is dawning.
I wrote that too. We'll make you laugh and help you get through.
Okay, so we've got the opening titles from 1995.
Yeah.
Okay, if you can set up properly, you've got Teresa Livingston.
Yeah, lovely, wonderful.
And you have Crikey the Clown, the other way
Ian
around.
Alden, very, 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 very talented man who will tell you until the cows come home, he has no talent at all. If I stalled in a sentence, he would finish it.
Yep.
And if he left a gap, I would fill it. It would, we were real tight as far as friends and the ability to speak on air. Yeah, so it was good. I have admired Ian right from the day I met him. And the day I met him, he was a French artist on Wombat. And he was a quiet, introverted, timid man up in Traffic in Channel 7. And he did some acting. And so they got him down on the set to do the French artist. And this timid man came leaping out from behind the flat, going, hello, hello. And I thought, wow, look at the talent. And he writes and voices. He's just brilliant. He's brilliant. He should be, he should be somewhere.
Does he underestimate himself?
Yes, yeah. I remember being at B105 in a room with him, and the guy from B105 was saying, we're going to pay you $350 a week to do voices. Ian said, I'm not worth that. And you look at me, I'm looking at you now going, I did the double take. I went, oh my God. And then I said, well, if you're not going to pay him that money, give it to me. But no, I didn't. And Ranger Stacey, how beautiful is Ranger Stacey? See, look at that team. How can I not? There's Agro in the middle. I've got Ranger Stacey, who is just, to this day, absolutely brilliantly wonderful for being normal. And you just warm to her. Brilliant Crikey the Clown. Teresa Livingston was just wonderful. And the best of all, Gibbo. Gibbo, big Gibbo, and and he's a close personal friend of Ian's for years and years and years, and of mine now. And once again, if you dropped the ball, he'd catch it. If he dropped the ball, Ian would catch it. If Ian dropped the ball, I'd catch it. If I dropped the ball, Teresa would pick it up. If Teresa dropped the ball, Ranger State, and we couldn't fail, I just surrounded myself with really good people.
Yeah.
Which is the key to how I've been successful. I just had good people around me. Some of them I didn't even like. But let's not bring in Skip and Adverse. Let's move on. I started with Fiona, and Fiona had a
But that's going back to Wombat or
yeah, that's Wombat and the Super Saturday show. Fiona hosted that, and then I hosted with Jill Ray, who they did auditions when I didn't have control, and on those auditions was Tiffany Lamb and people like that. But I purposely didn't work very well with any of them. I only worked well with Jill in the auditions to make sure Jill got the job, because that's who I wanted to have the job. So I was just terrible, but I got my own way. Yeah, so, and then after Jill, there was Anne-Marie. Jill wanted to have kids, and I did say to her, you know, we need timing here, and I think she said something like, what, I've got to ask you when I can have a baby? And I said, no, but when was the last time you saw a pregnant woman on a children's television show? But these days, of course, they celebrate it. But back in those days, it was, you know, okay, she's pregnant, she's finished.
Yeah.
So there's nothing more beautiful than a pregnant woman.
Yeah, nowadays.
I mean, I looked like one for many years.
Well played. Nice. But yeah, now it's we fully encourage it. So
Well, I see some replays up on YouTube of Cartoon Connections.
So did you hear that? Jamie looks at the
YouTube.
yeah. So you know, he easily claim. Oh, do you actually own the rights to that?
No. Channel 7 have always owned the rights to Agro and everything, yeah.
There you go. So he won't flag it as inappropriate or copyrighted there. Or...
No, it's all good. But I see that on YouTube now, some bits of it, and it's still, it lives because it's live television. Yeah. Well, it was, it was pre-recorded. What I'm saying, it was pre-recorded live. So it's live to tape.
Yep.
And no stopping. We had an audience, and we just ran. No repairing, no whatever, you know, all stammers kept in.
Good, except for the adult bloopers, obviously.
Oh, except for those, yes.
Yeah.
I also did the Super Saturday Show, the Super Saturday Show, the Super Saturday Show, the Super... Now, who can write things like that?
Well, it's the only guy that's not on a Sunday. There's a few...
It was, and I changed it to the Super Sunday, and Gibbo goes, the Super Sunday Show, the Super Sunday Show. But I did that, yeah, how bad's that?
What was it like to film in front of kids, for goodness sake?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great because, it's no different to those live shows I did at Morningside, to the Studio Theatre Cafe. It's live, and so you can't stop. You know, when you've lost the room, you've lost the room. And we took great care of our audience. You know, we really... Actually, Holly Brisley was one of the ones, was the last one that was to host, but then the show was canned before she really got to host.
Is that because of Cheese TV? Or...
No, not at all. It was because Saturday Disney, we were so successful that it attracted the attention of the Disney empire, because if they were looking to break into Australian television, they simply bought the biggest rating time slot, which we had built up, and that was the cruelty of television. It had nothing to do with Cheese TV.
Yeah, because it suddenly disappeared and went, oh. No.
Well, you know, it happens that, you know, if you can't accept no, you know, you're in the wrong business. You have to just move on, eh?
Yeah. One more. This is now your many of your Agro merchandise. Yeah. Album, singles. Yeah. Joe Dolce.
Joe Dolce.
That's it.
Yeah.
Not so bad. It's a nicer place. Shut up your face.
28 big time hits.
28. It is J&B Records. 28 of the funniest songs of all time. That's what it was, J&B. And I met the guy from J&B, and he said, why don't you come and do an album? And of course I went, yes, can do. And I recorded 28 songs. Hitsy Bitsy Teeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini, Monster Mash, all those quirky songs with a mate of mine, Peter Blyton, out of Sydney. And I was just, you know, they paid a licensing fee to have Agro sing those songs. And yeah, I don't know how many we sold.
Now, when you recorded that, did you use Agro?
Yes.
Or,
No.
Were you like a method?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't have him on my hand. No, I just recorded his voice. Yeah.
Channeled him.
Yeah, but because I was in bands and stuff, recording albums was pretty straightforward for me, and even better with Agro because, you can lean into it a bit,
Yep.
Yeah, so, it was good.
I've got one more here, which wouldn't say. Can you explain these images? I'm showing here, you got Agro's Mega Munch.
Agro's Mega Munch was the idea of Paul's over at West End at the time, and they were it was an idea of theirs, which was a bubblegum nose. Let's not mention Bubble Bill here, eh?
Who?
Bubble Bill, yeah. And they were looking for a sell-in, something. So if you ordered the latest thing, then you generally order some back catalogue, and that could be ice creams or music or books or anything. So that was that, and they were very professional, and I loved it. Look at the ice cream; it's fantastic.
Yeah, look how detailed it is.
Yeah.
Basically an exploding star sun type shape.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, there we go. Caramel, chocolate, and vanilla.
Yeah, with a real bubble gum nose.
Oh. Now, this one here, how much influence did you have with the Agro Game Boy game?
Well, the good thing about Agro was that anyone that developed now Nintendo did the Game Boy game, and the good thing about being an Agro is they had his attitude before, they came to me. So with that Agro Mega Munch, and like with this Agro Saw, and I was just talking to a guy the other day because the Nintendos are coming back in.
Oh, yeah. They're always trendy. And
Yeah. And so, if you find an Agro Saw game, it's quite a good game. He's on a skateboard and he has to jump over ravines and, boulders and stuff. So that's what that is, yeah.
Then that would be the...
There's 28 of the funniest songs ever recorded in a 2 CD pack on J&B Records.
The other one, which I don't have a photo of, is your arcade game.
Oh, that was a cracker.
Yeah, there's one located, when I checked a while ago, in my centre.
There was one in the Maya Centre, there was one in Ipswich, and there's a lovely man called John. I'm thinking Page. But anyway, this guy called John rang the Morningside Theatre and said, how would you like an Agro game in the foyer as the people come in? And he delivered it. He had bought it and done it up. And that game, where you had to hit the cockroaches as they run across the screen, Agro would slap them down. And it would go into what they call attract mode. And attract mode was Agro going, hey, psst, kids, you want to play a game? But it was lots of fun, but probably insensitive to attracting children to play a game. But anyway, tickets, you win heaps of tickets. Yeah, they were great. We sold. That was obviously through my the company that I was with, which was Agro Enterprises, with my friend Ron, and I think we sold about 15 of those. I might have that wrong. Maybe even. Because I remember my share was $1,500 every time they sold one of those games. It wasn't like a royalty, it was more a fee as they sold. And they sold a couple in Indonesia and a couple in Japan.
Wow. Well, Japan just pick up basically anything.
I know. I watched a thing last night which was something like, will you be my girlfriend, or something in Japanese.
If you are the one.
If you are the one, that's the one.
Yeah.
And all these cracking hot, lovely ladies are there. And this guy comes out and tries to get them interested in him.
Yeah, and I think there was one the other day where some chick was after a guy. No matter who it is, he can be fat or ugly, could be this, that, as long as he likes horror movies.
Well,
I thought...
Before I hit the bedroom, you got to tell a lot of jokes, mate. A lot of jokes.
Is that to take the focus off something?
Possibly. And if you want to scoop, yes, I have taken Agro to bed.
There you go. You described Agro simply as a bathroom mat.
Oh, bath mat. No, but that was a bit of it. Like when I get him out and when he's on my arm, like I was at Morayfield Shopping Centre the other day, and there was some kids lined up in front of Agro, and they don't even know who he is, right? He's been off television forever. I might reprise that and say, well, they know him from YouTube, I guess. Some of them. But anyway, this kid comes up to Agro, and I'm standing there right beside him. I've got him on my arm, and this kid goes to Agro, you're a puppet. And Agro goes, no, I'm not. And the kid goes, yes, you are. And Agro goes, No, I'm not. And there it is. He's connected and he's arguing with the puppet. You know, and then Agro goes, it's the guy beside me that's the dummy. You know?
But do you see Agro? Well, he technically hasn't really left. He's just stepped away from.
I don't know. You know, like, who knows? I have tried a couple of times you're talking about, do I see him coming back on TV?
Yeah, or any type of. Well,
In America, if it was America, I would be back on TV. But because it's Australia, and I understand that, like, it's a tough market out here because it's not an industry, it's almost like a hobby. You know what I mean? If you've got a great idea, like, you would never, ever get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles up as a show in Australia.
Yeah.
As I understand it, they sketched them out on a napkin at a restaurant and had the idea. You would never get Seinfeld. If I walked in to a television executive and said, I've got a show about nothing, it's just me talking to my mates, well, I would be thrown out, you know, as would Paul McCartney if he wasn't Paul McCartney and he walked into a music, you know, executive and said, it's going to be the biggest selling single of all time. It goes, Mull of Kintyre, oh, Mr. Rolling. And he'd be like, no, please. They would have tossed him out.
Would you do anything, say, if you had the time, the budget? Now you can make it a show so cheaply and just throw it up on YouTube now and get a buy.
I would do anything. Yeah, anything. Like, you know, the theme of what I've been saying is, you know, say yes first and work out how to do it later. I would, if you called me and said, hi, my name's Irving Schmidlap and I have much money and I want to do a 30-second ad to promote, I don't know, dog feces in a park, I would say, yep, I can do that. Even if money's not right. If someone said, like, I have pulled into a service station and up the coast, the guy said, we're shooting a short for the course, the film and television course at the uni. Would you mind? It would be a nice little cameo appearance. Would you do it? And not by Agro, by me, I sure will. And all I had to do was walk out and fill their petrol up and say, that'll be $15, mate. I did it.
You're basically up for hire for pretty much.
I think everyone is.
Within reason.
Yeah, in our business,
yeah,
in Australia, be it television, radio, whatever it is, you have to do everything to get something. It's amazing, you know. You have to. It's a business. Like next week, I've got bills to pay, so you know I've got to find some work.
You're highly approachable and. Yeah, you just ask and, depending on...
Yeah, I don't even care if there's no budget, I do it. Seriously, you know, because you never know what comes from it.
All right, well, I'll wrap up with, because I can't think of anything else you covered.
Well, look, why don't we do next time, let's do who sacked you and how.
Perfect. Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, mate.
Cartoon Connection. Yeah.